I kept my voice calm. I didn't flinch when she said it. My wife, at the Christmas table, her family watching. You're becoming an embarrassment to this family. The words landed, sharp and deliberate, but I didn't let them see it pierce me. I breathed in, let it sit heavy in my chest. Her sister Sarah smirked into her wine. Finally, she admits it, she said, and the others chuckled, circling like vultures. I only replied, I understand. And I did. Not the insult, not their judgment, but the truth beneath it. I understood who they were. I understood what they thought of me. And I understood exactly what I would do about it, because they had no idea who I really was. When I met Emily, she was radiant, untouched by the edges of her family's coldness. She wanted freedom from their suffocating expectations, and I thought I could give her that. I bent myself to fit in, laughing at her father's off-color jokes, wearing the perfect suit to her mother's charity dinners, swallowing Sarah's endless comments about my lack of pedigree. Meanwhile, I built something. Quietly. Long nights. Countless failures. The kind of work that leaves scars you can't see. I never complained. I never showed off. I told no one. I thought my wife, of all people, would see me, the man, not the title, not the bank account. But she didn't. She saw me as they did. Lesser, laughable, something that dulled the shine of her perfect family portrait. What cut the deepest wasn't her words that night, it was her laugh. The sound of her choosing their side. The sound of her dismissing me. And in that moment, everything fell into place. The distance in her eyes. The whispered calls. The way she pulled her hand back at dinner parties. She wasn't tired. She wasn't distracted. She was finished. And she thought I had no power. That was her mistake. I didn't rage. I didn't break a glass or storm out. I simply excused myself, poured another drink, and watched them through the amber glow in my glass. They thought they'd broken me. In reality, they had given me clarity. For the last year, I had been quietly finalizing the biggest deal of my life, merging my company with a global firm. The shares, the patents, the technology, everything was aligned. 2 weeks earlier, I had signed the papers. Forbes had already reached out for a feature. I hadn't told a soul. Not Emily. Especially not Emily. I wanted them to think I was nothing. Let them sneer. Let them laugh. The knife was already sharp. And then the phone rang during dessert. Emily's father frowned, answered, and we all heard his business partner's voice on speaker. Is it true your son-in-law just got named Forbes' youngest billionaire? The room went silent. Forks hovered in mid-air. Sarah's smirk vanished. Emily's hand shook against her wineglass. She wasn't just tired. She wasn't just distracted. She was done. And she thought I was powerless. That was her mistake. He wiped his mouth before replying. His business partner's voice cut through the room, loud enough that everyone heard. Is it true your son-in-law just made Forbes' list as the youngest billionaire? Silence followed, the kind that swallows the air. Forks paused mid-bite. Sarah's smug grin faltered. My wife's fingers trembled around her glass. I said nothing. I didn't need to. Her father's face turned red as he muttered something into the phone, glancing at me, not with dismissal this time, but with a mix of panic and dread. I carefully placed my glass down. Excuse me, I said evenly, as if nothing at all had changed, and left the table. That was the first cut. In the weeks that followed, everything shifted. Emily's father suddenly called me often, eager to reconnect. Sarah sent me short, polite texts filled with fake sympathy. Her mother, who once excluded me, began inviting me to her charity galas. I responded, but never warmly, polite, measured, distant. And Emily, my wife, began to try again. She cooked dinners, reached for me at night, laughed too loudly at my jokes. But it was all wrong, too timed, too convenient. It wasn't love pulling her back to me. It was fear. Fear of losing what she thought she had secured the day she married me. I let her sit in that fear. But money wasn't enough. Wealth can buy silence, respect, even submission. But I wanted them to see the truth. So I invited them all to our home. Emily, her parents, Sarah. I called it a celebration, a toast to new beginnings. They arrived polished, dressed in wealth and shallow pride. Wine poured. Small talk flowed like poison. And when the moment was right, I lifted my glass. I want to thank you, I began, my voice calm and deliberate, for always being honest with me, for reminding me who I am, and who I am not. Confusion flickered on their faces. Emily, I said, turning to my wife, when you called me an embarrassment, you gave me clarity. Sarah, when you laughed, you showed me what I needed to see. And you, I faced her father. When you dismissed me, you taught me patience. I let the silence stretch, heavy and sharp. The deal I closed, I said slowly, wasn't just for me. Your company was part of it. As of last week, you no longer hold majority control. His glass slipped from his hand and shattered against the floor. And you, Sarah. I turned to her. That trust fund you flaunt? Frozen. There's an investigation into those accounts now. Funny how mismanagement surfaces when the right people start looking. Her face went pale. Finally, I faced Emily, my wife, the one who had betrayed me. You wanted status, a man worthy of your family's approval. Well, congratulations. You married him. But you also underestimated him. And now you get to decide, do you love me, or do you love the image of what I've built? Choose carefully. She couldn't move, couldn't speak. I walked out, leaving them all in the wreckage of their own pride. Later that night, I sat alone in my study, their silence still echoing in my mind. Do I regret it? No. They stripped me bare long before I struck back. This wasn't just revenge. It was inevitable. They once called me an embarrassment. Now, when they hear my name, they look away. Not because they fear me, but because I force them to confront who they truly are. And that is the kind of humiliation they'll carry forever.